Good evening, everyone. Today evening, I had a talk about makkha. Um, makkha in Pali means not acknowledging the good of other people, not acknowledging the worth, virtues, success, or whatever the good things of other people. So that is called makkha. So this is one of the upakilesas in the Nikayas, because we see that the word called kilesa is often mentioned in the Abhidhamma, uh, but the word called upakilesa, I mean, these two terms have no big difference, other than they talk about just defilements, but the Buddha usually uses upakilesa, um, you know to understand all the defile all types of defilements in the main sutras which you see in the Nikaya. So anyway, so makkha is a upakilesa, one of the upakilesas in the sutras. So today we're going to talk about what is makkha, and what are the reasons behind why someone is coming up with makkah or contempt, which actually I want to actually interpret, define makkah before we talk about all these things. And I'm going to actually give you a rough sketch about the top. So first, we're going to talk about what is makkah, which we call contempt, or not acknowledging um, the worth, the success, growth, virtues, good things of other people. And then we're going to talk about why someone is coming up with, makkah in their lives, and then what kind of treatments, what kind of, how Buddha, told us to work with makkah in Buddhism. Okay, first, let's take a look at what makkah is. So in English, we usually know contempt is a good term for makkah, but it does not actually give a full-fledged, inclusive understanding about makkah. I would rather say, not makkah means not acknowledging the good of others. Okay, so that is makkah. Why? Why? Many of us maybe at some point of our life, or sometimes some individuals all the time, coming up with makkah or contempt. There could be some reasons. So if you take a look at of the possible potential reasons of why someone may come up with contempt or makkah, we could notice that there could be multiple reasons, and we understand, there could be some issues with their families. We all actually grew up with our family in the first place in our life. So if we did not get a sort of validation in spending time with family in the first, I don't know, in the first half of our life, so then I think that would be a reason why some people may um, you know uh, maybe contemptuous, or may have makkah. That's one of the, that could be one of the reasons for many. And also our school life education, sometimes we don't get validated because of this huge competition in the education system. So some some succeed, but not some others. So then there could be some issues that some people may face in their education. So I mean, in terms of a good student, or maybe in terms of you know um, uh, doing best in their letter grades or whatever. So there could be some potential things happen with education. Not like blaming the education, but some people may come up with contempt, or this makkah, because of some validation issues. And then there's a social life. So in our social lives, we get to know other people. we associate a lot of people, we get in touch with a lot of people. So sometimes bad friends, sometimes good friends, sometimes wise friends, sometimes unwise friends. So they can make a big impact on our identity or validation thing, right? Sometimes if we are with unwise friends, individuals, those individuals or friends might not validate us to the best of who we are actually. They might validate differently, but those could be the reasons too at some point. And our experiences, in Buddhism, we know experiences make up um, uh, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, which means feelings, perceptions, and formations, right? So whatever the experiences that we've been having in our life, uh, I mean, such experiences could impact us, affect us, you know, with our validations like acceptance, recognitions of our character, temperament, skills, whatever, right? So these could be the reasons behind, uh, behind contempt or makkha of many individuals. Actually, all these are insecurities for many. So because of these lack of considerations or validations of uh, such people, they may come up with contempt at some point of their life. Okay, now we are going to talk about how we can work with makkha or contempt in Buddhism. So I can actually talk about three main techniques to work with makkha. So one of the techniques that we could do is to practice appreciative joy, or which we call in Pali by mudita, right? Because in mudita, what we understand is that we trying to accept, uh, you know, uh, achievements, success of other people. But I would say that we really need to see our uniqueness, of our life. uh, Oftentimes what many people do is that they're gonna look at other people's lives and then they're going to compare such lives with their lives. That's too dangerous actually. So what I think from Buddhism is that we everybody you know uh, having lives very uniquely from our childhood. So if we take a look at our own story of the life, uh, we could mostly be happy, especially people who have a good career, good education, not even someone who has a good education, good career, but also everybody from their different angles, perspectives, they can be really happy about their life if they only look at their uniqueness in the first place. So don't compare, don't try to see what others have gotten in their lives. You try to see what you have gotten and see what kind of uniqueness exists in your life, and then to see about other people. So this will help you to sort of understand mudita, because if you're going to try to see other people first, and that might be a setback, for understanding this mudita concept, right? So mudita is one of the techniques. In mudita, you try to accept your life and your uniqueness, and then you will be able to. That will help you to see what other people's have been accomplishing in their lives. Okay. Technique number two is to work out on egos. Like I would say, we all may have egos differently, but sometimes some people may have a big ego. So I would rather say we need to balance out our egos. Sometimes it could be really inferior, it could be something like very superior. So we need to balance out our ego thing. If you don't balance out our ego thing, it could be either high, it could be either lower, right? Which would take us to big troubles in our life, right? So the last technique to work with um, makkha or contempt is to practice vipassana. So this is the best thing in Buddhism, right? So vipassana is to see things as they are, and not seeing things as we are, right? So in vipassana, basically we're trying to promote, develop objective perspective, right, about anything. uh, we may need subjective perspective at some points of our life, but most of the time, we really need this objective perspective so that we can see anything, any situation, any person, uh, very uniquely, very specially. That's what vipassana means. So then, try to see things as they are. If you can see things as they are, regardless of a person, individual, situation, event, whatever the thing, then you will not you know uh, actually be into any thoughts of contempt,